I think it's safe to say that Bitcoin is officially in a bear market. And before you go off and saying that Bitcoin is dead and crypto is just a scam, let's take a look at what this bear market means and how you can take advantage of it now to see massive gains in the future. But before we start 10K Trades, a brand new YouTube channel talking about investing, cryptocurrency, and other blockchain news. So guys, all I'm saying is go ahead and hit that like button and subscribe to the channel, and I promise there will be much more content coming out in the future. And I just need to say that this is not financial advice, and you can see the full disclaimer in the description below. Now let's get into today's video. So first, let's cover what a bear market actually means. So a bear market is a period of falling stock prices, and during this time, investor confidence is super low and investing as a whole seems pretty risky. And in the crypto space, we like to say that there is a lot of FUD, which means there is fear, uncertainty, and doubt. And during this time, you'll hear a lot of news sources and casual conversations that sound like, oh, Bitcoin is too risky, or oh my gosh, I lost so much money on crypto, or just the overall approach and just saying that Bitcoin is dead. And if you're just focused on the prices in the short term, it's pretty understandable why you feel this way. I mean, seeing your current holdings drop by 20% in one day definitely does not feel good, and I understand why a lot of people just try to step away from the crypto space as a whole. Because to be honest, it's super easy to be excited about an industry and excited about this new technology when everyone's making money, all the prices are going up, and everyone's having a good time. However, it's a totally different thing to still be excited about that industry when prices are continuing to fall, everyone's losing money, and there's not a lot of hype throughout the industry. But the key thing to remember is that this technology is still so new, and there will be a lot more bumps in the road that cryptocurrencies need to go through. But I'm here to say that I 100% believe that the industry of blockchain and cryptocurrencies is inevitable, and I believe that it will continue to grow as time goes on in the long term. And this technology will change so many different things in our daily lives, and we'll be using it before we even know it. However, as to which cryptocurrencies are going to be the ones that are successful in the end, it's impossible to say. Now, bear markets are definitely not a new thing to Bitcoin, and let's just take a look at what the past bear markets look like so we can see how far Bitcoin has actually come. So the headline in 2013 says that Bitcoin crashes to $50. Then 2015 it says Bitcoin crashes to $200. 2018 Bitcoin crashes to $3,000, and finally the big headline in 2021 is that Bitcoin crashes to $30,000. So if we're worried about when Bitcoin crashed to 50 and now we look 8 years later and it crashes down to $30,000, only time will tell what the next big crash will be to. Maybe 60,000, maybe 100,000. So you could obviously see that the trend is continuing to grow, and obviously there will be many corrections within the market. And this is a totally normal thing. I mean, you see this in every single stock market all the time. And while these crashes seem like a traumatic thing at the time, looking back, it's kind of funny. Like, looking back at 2013 and really seeing that people freaked out when Bitcoin crashed to $50, I mean, today people would kill to be able to buy a full Bitcoin for only $50. Now let's dive a bit deeper to see what happened so far in 2021 that led Bitcoin into this big bear market. For starters, we saw so much growth from October of 2020 to April of 2021, where we saw the price of Bitcoin shot up from $10,000 all the way up to over $60,000 in that short amount of time. And one thing with major growth like this, obviously when you see the price multiply by 6 in a couple of months, a lot of investors are going to begin to take profits from that money that they made. So while people are taking profits of their holdings, obviously this leads to a pretty big sell-off of Bitcoin. And the more that people sell, people start to get scared, the price drops. And this is a natural thing that happens in the market usually after a price hits an all-time high. But other than just the sell-off of the price, there are a couple things that happened throughout this year that could have led us into this bear market. The first being China's crackdown on Bitcoin and Bitcoin mining. Up until this year, China has been the largest Bitcoin mining center in the world, and China's mining power of Bitcoin accounts for 65% of the total hash rate. So the Chinese government then had a major crackdown on all Bitcoin mining and began shutting down all mining sites throughout the country. And this caused a huge scare, which led a lot of Chinese miners to flee to other countries to find safer places to continue mining. The next thing that happened was the US crypto tax increase. And with this, the Biden administration has been working to increase the capital gains tax on all crypto holdings. And with this, crypto holders that exchange back into fiat currency will have to pay up to 40% tax on their capital gains. That's literally huge, 40%. Like 40% is an insane amount of tax to pay, especially with this risky market. You're going to have to endure all that craziness of the fluctuation of the stock prices, and through all that you maintain your risk and you stay focused with those laser eyes finally you get those gains that you're looking for, and when you exchange it back into fiat currency, they're going to take 40% of your capital gains. That's just terrible. And because regulation takes a bit of time to process, a lot of crypto holders began to sell their holdings now so that they could take their capital gains and not have to pay these huge taxes later. And the third thing is the major conversations that were brought up around the energy usage concerns of Bitcoin and Bitcoin mining. And this was made public by a lot of politicians and also Tesla CEO Elon Musk. And now there has always been a lot of talk around the energy that is used to power the Bitcoin network. Since Bitcoin uses the proof of work consensus, this requires miners to expend energy in order to solve equations that will then reward them back in Bitcoin. This is what the mining process is. And as time goes on, the processes require more energy to be expended as the network continues to grow. And many politicians have expressed their opinions about this matter and think that it is kind of going down a rabbit hole. And this conversation alone has caused a lot of fear, uncertainty, and doubt among many average Bitcoin holders or even people that are just starting to learn about the crypto space. So now that we talked a bit about why this bear market could have happened, let's talk about how you can personally take advantage of this. I personally think that the best possible thing to do during a bear market, first of all, is to educate yourself on the technology and the different cryptocurrencies and what this whole thing means and the focus that these currencies have in the long term. When you start to educate yourself on this technology and the cryptocurrencies, you stop thinking about the daily prices and you don't really care so much about the daily volatility, and you start thinking about the long-term process and focus of these whole projects. Because like we always say, Bitcoin and cryptocurrency is inevitable and it's here to stay. However, it is a long-term vision. It's not just going to happen overnight. And now one of the most popular questions that is asked among so many Bitcoin and crypto traders is, how long is this bear market actually going to last? And in order to answer this question, we have to look a bit back and see what these past bull markets and bear markets look like for Bitcoin. If we look, the first bear market was 633 days, then the bull market followed, which was 845 days, and you continue to go. The bear market was a bit smaller the next time, 361, then the bull market followed with 192, bear 260, bull 396. And this current bear market, we're sitting at around 95 to 100 days in this bear market. And obviously we're seeing that each bear market is continuing to decrease in the size and the length of time. So while the average bear market that we've had throughout Bitcoin's entire history has been about 418 days, and we can see that each bear market is getting shorter. So with this considered, I can see us being in a bear market for the next 2 or 3 months, and then I think we'll start to continue on and rise into that next bull market. Now, there are 2 major things that you can do during this bear market to take full advantage and be ready when we hit that next bull market to see massive gains. The first one is educating yourself, and this means learning about the industry and the technology behind these cryptocurrencies. So this means going down the rabbit hole and watching YouTube videos and reading articles and even picking up books or even just starting up conversations with other people that may know more about it. Taking the extra time to become more informed about this space as a whole is not only going to make you feel more confident in your investing, but also you'll be able to see the bigger picture. And now, following along with that, the next thing that you can do is dollar cost averaging. This is something I talk about quite often. Dollar cost averaging just means that if you're planning to invest $1,000, what you do is you just break that up into maybe $100 or even $50, and then rather than investing that full $1,000 at one time and hoping that it's a good price, once you have those broken up pieces, you invest $50 maybe every week or maybe every day, whatever you choose to do. Invest those little pieces at a time, and the prices will continue to change, but over time you will begin to get an average price, and so that means that you won't be overpaying like crazy. And overall, this is the best thing for long-term investing. So those 2 things, educate yourself and dollar cost averaging. I mean, this technology is so exciting, and looking at this bear market as a positive thing really will put you ahead of the game and be able to make massive gains in the future. And now, if this video was helpful, go ahead and hit that like button and subscribe to the channel. 10K Trades is a brand new channel, and there will be much more content coming in the future. See you in the next video.